UCLan's a very large university is one of the first things I would say. We're one of the 5th, 6th, 7th biggest university in the UK, depending on how you count. What that means for this university is that we're also very broad. We do everything from art and design to astrophysics. One of the major parts of our strategy, though, in addition to the obvious things like being an academically incredibly strong university and building on our reputation, has been an internationalisation agenda. We think it's important for many reasons for a university to be regionally engaged, nationally engaged, but also internationally engaged, not least for the benefit of our students, who we believe will be growing up in a world which is very much about globalisation, that whatever industries they are going into, whichever walks of life they're going into in the future, they are going to need to understand the world outside of this little bubble that we live in the UK.
I'm so pleased to see so many staff and students here to support the launch of our new International Institute for Korean Studies. I'd like to introduce the Vice-Chancellor to say a few words before we do the official opening.
Thank you, Isabel. First of all, welcome to everybody. It's absolutely great to be here at the launch of what is a major strategic initiative for the university. I'd particularly like to start by welcoming our distinguished guests, who are many, but particularly Ambassador Greg and Minister Kim to the university. I know that many of you have travelled a long way to attend this conference on Korean security and to help us launch the Institute, which I have to say is something that we are very proud to have here, and which I'd just like to make a point of recognising the leadership of Professor Hazel Smith, who has been a very great part in the establishment of the Institute.
I only started at UCLan last December, and so the conceptualisation of the Institute started way before I came. But I think it's fair to say that they appointed me with a mandate to take it forward in a strategic way. And what that means is that we have 3 pillars of this institute. The first is teaching. We're only the 3rd university in the whole of the United Kingdom to offer Korean language at the undergraduate level, and we've seen an exponential increase and interest by students in only its 2nd year of operations. The second part of the strategy for the Institute is the development of research, and the launch that we've had today in these last 2 days has brought together international academics, diplomats and journalists from all over the world, from China, from Russia, from the United States, from Australia even, coming into Preston, and we're very happy about that, and from all over Europe and South Korea, of course. And the third part is public policy. By that, what we mean is that we hope to interact and to have a positive influence on understanding of Korea and vice versa at the local level, at the national level in the UK, and at the international level. What this conference has done is to show that we're already influential at the international level. We're talking about the national level. We work closely with the Foreign Office already in terms of thinking about Korea and Korean policy, north and south. And we hope to go into schools with the thinking about teaching of Korean in local schools. UCLan has done that with Chinese and Japanese already, and we hope to do that with Korean.
We have here today, in fact, diplomats, academics, analysts and journalists from Asia, Europe, America and Australia. That's truly remarkable. I'm not just in geographical spread, but also in terms of the global community that they represent. So thank you again for travelling so far to be with us yesterday and today. The appointment of Hazel, I think, has been a masterstroke by the university. I can't take any credit for that because it happened before I arrived. But having somebody who has the reputation and influence and networks that Hazel does across the world, having worked not just in universities but outside of universities, and having engaged with people like the Foreign Office in the UK, but also people like the State Department in the United States, being well known and respected, has enabled the university to work with Hazel and to develop networks that would have been actually completely unthinkable without her. I'd also like to thank all of the students and welcome all of the students who are studying Korean here. We are pretty much unique, I think, as a university in our part of the world to have such a well-established and well-developed subject grouping and subject area in Korean. And although Hazel has provided absolutely wonderful leadership alongside Isabel, we are very pleased indeed and very happy, in fact, to have such a strong staff base, both academic and administrative support, who have made this course, which is becoming a great success for the university, possible. So thank you to the staff who have so ably supported Hazel and her team. Thank you.
The level at which we're able to operate is because of course, a number of us, myself included, have had a long history of working on Korea in scholarly work, but also with various governments, myself for the last 25 years or so. So we're able to bring that expertise together in UCLan in order to go further in developing those networks, which we hope will benefit Korea, will benefit the United Kingdom, and will also benefit Preston and our students.
I'm very proud also to mark the formal opening of the new Institute of Korean Studies, which is designed to be multidisciplinary and international and a hub of research, teaching and public policy in the study of contemporary Korea. I'm very pleased that we're doing this here at UCLan, because one of the ethoses that runs throughout this university is that we want to be and are achieving high academic standards and high academic reputation for the research and academic study that takes place within the university. One of the things, though, that runs through the university and was one of the main aims of the university is that we wish to make all of that very, very high quality academic expertise available to the rest of the world. The question that always gets asked at UCLan about the research activity and the new knowledge we create is essentially, so what? Who can use that? Who can do something with that? I think the new institute is a wonderful example of bringing together those high academic standards with relevance to the world outside of the university and working in partnership with the world outside the university to make sure that that academic expertise is used in a way that is positive for the world, not just within the university, but outside the university. And when I look at the kind of work that we've been doing with, for example, the State Department, or in the UK, the Foreign Office, we are having a very, very positive impact on policy making at a very high level in an area that is of great strategic importance, not just to the UK, but in fact for the entire world. So I'm very proud to be part of a university that is able to do that, willing to do that, and is achieving such an outstanding impact. The other thing I'd note about the Institute is it brings together a huge amount and a huge range of different activity within the university. And again, this is something we're very proud of being able to do within this university. We don't operate within silos. And if you look at what has been brought together within the Institute, it's not just the very high standard academic things that we do on Korean studies. It's also work in music, performance, international law and sociology. Now, for those of you who aren't from the university environment, I don't know whether you actually understand just how remarkable it is within a university to be able to bring together such a range of different kind of subject areas and activity in one place with such impact. It is actually remarkable, and again, I thank Hazel for helping with the leadership of that. I don't want to go on too long because I generally find that if Vice Chancellors go on too long, people start to nod off, and that's definitely not something that we want to happen. And I know that many of our visitors have had a very intensive couple of days in the workshops and plenary sessions of the conference. So for many of you, this, given the travel that's involved, marks the end of a very long week. So I just wanted to say, again, a thank you to all those people who've been involved in the establishment of the Institute. A thank you again to our visitors and our distinguished visitors to the university who are marking this very special occasion. And good luck and good fortune for something which is not only important for the university, but I'm sure both the UK and the rest of the world. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Hazel to say a few words, perhaps about what you hope for the Institute in the future.
Thanks, Isabel. I would like to do that, but first of all, I'd like to thank everybody again, along with the Vice-Chancellor, who's been so instrumental in getting this institute off the ground. In terms of the future, we're hopefully going to do more of the same. We're going to concentrate on excellence of teaching. This is the second year of the undergraduate degrees in Korean. We're going to introduce new master's degrees, one in North Korean studies and one in the study of contemporary Korea, where we'll look at contemporary Korean business, like the chaebols, Samsung, Hyundai and all the rest of them, and the enormous success of South Korea and the enormous economic example in many ways that South Korea can be for the rest of the world, as well as something which many of our students are interested in, which I'm interested in as well, which is the contemporary Korean culture, K-pop, films and all these fantastic cultural output, which is having a worldwide impact. And that's another thing that we want to take a look at in terms of the direction of research and teaching over the next few years. And finally, to echo the Vice-Chancellor's comments, we want to integrate what we do into public policy and impact at every level, at the local level, at the national level, and at the international level. This conference was part of that. We want to have good quality, high quality scientific research, which we want to talk about, but we also want to make sure that we are having synergies with, in this case, the diplomatic world, the journalistic world and the think tank world.
It's completely remarkable. We've got people such as ambassadors here, people who've worked in the State Department here, people who lead for their countries in Korean economic affairs. It's very hard to imagine that many other universities, either here or in Europe, could actually bring together such an eminent guest list. It's a remarkable achievement and a great start for the Institute. It's very hard to imagine a better start for the Institute.
Those two guests that you're referring to who helped us inaugurate the Institute, formally inaugurate the Institute, were first of all Minister Kim Chang-mo, who is a very distinguished diplomat from South Korea, who currently is based in the South Korean embassy in London. And he and the embassy and the ambassador are wholly supportive of what UCLan is doing in terms of developing closer links between Korea and South Korea and the UK, and in terms of developing understanding of Korea to a broader audience. So we were very happy to have Minister Kim here. The second person who was helping us formally launch the Institute of Korean Studies today was Ambassador Donald Gregg, who used to be the ambassador from the United States to South Korea and is still extremely influential in the United States on Korea policy. He was also the first George Bush's national security advisor when he was the vice president, and he's got a long and distinguished career in the United States, the diplomacy and civil service. So we were very delighted that he could be with us today.
I'd like to firstly introduce you to Minister Chang-mo Kim, who has joined us especially today for the event. I'd like to invite him to say a few words. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here with you and congratulate the launch of this Korean Study Institute. I hope this institute can contribute to the development of Korean study and also to the improvement of strengthening of our bilateral relations between Korea and United Kingdom. I hope this institute to be the #1 institute of Korean study in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
And finally, Ambassador Donald Gregg, who is going to say a few words. He has a long and distinguished career, and we've heard from him a few times over the past 2 days. I'd like to give you the final word before we open.
Well, I'd like to address the students here. I teach a course at my college in the United States. I get on a number of college and university campuses every year, and one senses very quickly when you go to one of them what's going on, how it's going on, and how it's being received. And I think UCLan is really onto something. I have been impressed by everyone I have seen here. The look of the students as they walk around, the buildings, the facility, the spirits, the friendliness, and the substance of what we've been indulging in the last couple of days. And the fact that Hazel has been able to attract as high quality a group of people from all over the world is a tribute to her, and the fact that UCLan has given her the opportunity to do this is a tribute to them. So I'm very, very happy to be a part of this and appreciate being invited. Thank you. All right, 1, 2, 3. There it is.
Just before we leave, just a couple of matters. First of all, Vice Chancellor, would you like to present?
Yes, of course. Mr. Kim, thank you again for attending.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
A pleasure. Thanks so much. Right.
Thank you both.
Thank
And finally, the bit we've all been waiting for, drinks are served downstairs in the foyer.
Many of the students will actually be spending time in Korea, and again, working with many of the people here, it means that we are able to establish relationships with organisations and people in Korea. That means that many of the students that you've met here today, in addition to being able to rub shoulders with eminent people, which is always very nice, because of those eminent people being here, we'll have opportunities for placements, internships, jobs during their time here in UCLan, which will mean them working and studying in Korea. So I hope they appreciate the fact that there is more to this than just a star-studded occasion where they get to be on the other side of the red carpet, I suppose, in a way, as being part of the launch of the Institute. But also, because we've got those links and because the Institute has been established in this kind of way, they will see real, genuine benefit from that as well.